Welcome to MMA Dogs. My name is Hector, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in, especially to all of our clients. And it is time to take the test here. We've come to the point where we've got UFC Fight Night 52 on our hands, and there are some very interesting fights. Super excited for these, so let's just dive right into it. And we've got, for the first fight of the night, we've got Blanco versus Hooker. Now, in Blanco, we get a guy who is very explosive, very dangerous. He can be a loose cannon, and that's a dangerous proposition. But the big thing here is he is in Japan. He is at home, and he's going to have that big advantage. With Hooker, he looked very good in his UFC debut. He's very poised. He did exactly what he needed to do to get the W. And he's a smart guy, but he was fighting an absolute dummy. I mean, this guy he was fighting against Whistle, he he held on to that leg lock just for forever, and eventually got himself TKO'd. No surprise. So, but Hooker's got a very tough test here in Blanco, and I fully expect for Blanco to get the victory here, and we'll go into the bets in a little bit here, of course. But with Blanco, like I said, yeah, I could see why he's a bit of a risk. But at the same time, he is at home. He's going to want the W more than anything. And I think he's going to get it here. We've got Johnny Case versus Tokudome. With Case, you know, Jury asked him to come train with him at Alliance here in San Diego. He's on an 8-fight winning streak. He was scheduled to fight Joe Ellenberg. And he's a solid fighter. His last one was a bit controversial, but you know, this guy brings a solid set of skills to the cage, and he's been out for almost a year, which means that he's been really honing his skills, really working on things. And with Tokudome, we know what we're going to get. He's already fought in the UFC. The biggest flaw I see with him is his striking defense. You know, it's just he gets hit and he doesn't react well. I like Case in this fight. We'll be betting it. I'm going to put it in a round robin, real small, but something we can profit off of nonetheless. And for the next one, we've got Kang versus Tanaka. Very interesting styles here. With Kang, he's more of a wrestler, more well-rounded. Tanaka, he's more of a judo type of player, type of grappler. And Tanaka is smart, but Kang, in my opinion, is too much right now. Kang, I've watched him for a while now, and I've been impressed with what I've seen from him. And so I like King at a dog price. I like King, and I'm gonna be putting him in a round robin, a small one. For the next fight with Lim and Sato, you know, this one is just it's just a big time mismatch. That's what it is, a big time mismatch. And I really like Lim here. Lim should finish in the first round. Lim is not taking this fight lightly. That's one of the concerns when somebody's fighting somebody like that. You know, somebody who's not at their skill level. Lim's not taking the fight lightly, which is good to see. Very good to see. So I definitely like Lim. He's just the better fighter. I mean, just watch their fights, and Lim's just on another level. But the UFC needs and wants Lim to get the win, obviously. Otherwise, it wouldn't have paired him up with Sato. And I expect Lim to win this fight. For the next one, let's see. Kikuno and Sicilia. Kikuno making the drop. I really like Sicilia here. I think Kikuno, if this was in the U.S., oh, man, I'd be making Sicilia a betting pick. But the fact that it is in Japan, you know, makes me shy away from that one. Because there's so many other better spots. But man, for this one, I like Sicilia here. Kikuno, I'm not sold on him, and him making the drop. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win. If anything, usually when the fighters make the drop, it's because they're not cutting it at the other weight. But we'll see how this one looks. It's going to be complete and total pass of a fight. Let's see. Let me see who I got up next here. Caceres and Kanehara. Originally, Caceres has faced Originally, it was Faber versus Kanehara. Caceres steps in, and I still like Caceres. Obviously, Faber would have, in my opinion, beat him. But I still like Caceres. Caceres just constantly improving, constantly evolving, always looking for a finish. I really like what I see with Kanehara. You know, should have been in the UFC earlier. Now, from watching his fights, he looks like he's towards the end of his career. It's too bad for him. So I like Caceres. Horiguchi versus John Delos Reyes. Horiguchi, excellent movement, very good footwork, but he keeps his hands too low for my liking. That's the problem with him. And Delos Reyes, brings power. He just brings it, comes to fight. I do like Horiguchi, but it's going to be a pass for a bet on that one. Big old price tag. And Kiichi Kunimoto versus Richard Walsh. Now, what an excellent fight for Kunimoto in his last performance. He's got very good submissions, extremely focused on his career. I really like this guy a lot. But they're putting him up against a very nasty fighter in Walsh. He's very well-rounded. I shouldn't say very, but he's well-rounded, especially good elbows and knees. He's got good timing, good footwork, and good cardio. And from what I've seen in his fights, he's always constantly improving. He's going to be faster on the feet than Kunimoto. That's where he should keep the fight. And he's going to come in prepared with a very good game plan. So I'm going to go with Walsh for the upset here. Much to my dismay, because I really do like Kunimoto as not only a fighter but outside of the cage. So, like I said, I'm not going to make picks based off of guys who I like, but rather guys who I think will win. And Walsh is a big dog, but I like him there. And for the next one, we have Miesha Tate versus Nakai. Now with Tate, she's got Robert Follis as her coach at Extreme Couture. She's adjusted her training schedule. She's doing the right things. Her wrestling is very good. Stand-up has improved, and in my opinion, is underrated. She needs to believe in her hands, though, and she needs to use her takedown defense to keep the fight upright and get the knockout. I don't think she's looking past Nakai, and I really would like Miesha Tate to not have any brain farts in this fight. With Nakai, bless her heart, her fights were boring for me to watch. She offers nothing on the feet. Her wrestling is non-existent, and she has to get a judo throw to even think about winning this fight. Once it's on the ground, she's good, she's slick, but excuse me, her level of competition is low, and her last 3 wins were a fighter with nearly a 500 record, fighter past her prime, and a flyweight. So the only way she wins this fight if Tate messes around on the ground, and Tate tires out, and somehow Nakai either gets some kind of dominant position or something and pulls it off. But I like Tate a lot here. Akiyama and Sadollah, the case of the two MIA AWOL guys, and Akiyama, dealing with injuries and stuff. Sadollah, same thing. I like Akiyama here. If it wasn't in Japan, I'd go with Sadollah, but it is in Japan. I really like Akiyama here to get the decision. Do not bet. Although I was tempted on Akiyama, but the price is a little too high. Jury and the Fireball Kid. I like Jury here a lot. His arm's healthy again. He's working with a sports psychologist. He's got the right attitude. And the criticism against his fight with Ricci, that was a very tough matchup stylistically. And that's not going to be the case here. So I like Jury. Mark Hunt versus Roy Nelson. What the heck's going on with Mark Hunt? Cutting weight and all this and that. And I'd automatically, if I was already deciding which guy, and I was favoring Hunt, but that whole weight thing, and that's just not good. That is not good. And I'm gonna go with Nelson here. Do not bet. I could see Hunt knocking him out. I could see Nelson knocking him out. That's a total do not bet. But there is a prop that I really like on that fight. So for the bets themselves, for my MMA dog bets, this is what I have. 3 stars. Jury, small. Tate, small. And Blanco, small. Now, these bets are small because There is nothing on here that really stands out to me that I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, let's go in. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that one. Blah 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 blah. And next week is when I'm really gonna unleash the hounds. I really like next week's card a lot. So with this one, we're gonna keep it nice and conservative. Still, hopefully I get us to over 6 units of profit. But it's going to be very conservative and very nice here. So Jury at minus 586 and Tate at minus 263. That gives us minus 162. 1.62 units to win 1. Example bet is $162 to win 100. Blanco. Also, keep the ratio the same on these bets. If you are following bet by bet, keep the ratio the same on these bets. Then if you want to sprinkle a little bit of this and that on other ones, go ahead. But keep the ratio the same. So Blanco at minus 155, 1.55 units to win 1. Example bet is 155 to win 100. Hunt Nelson does not go to decision at minus 260. Plus Lim at minus 570. That equals minus 159. So 1.59 units to win 1. If you're limited on the unit because your units are large, then spread it around. There's ways around it, but so minus 260 does not go to decision. Limit minus 570, 1.59 units to win 1. And now the round robin parlays of 2s. So 6 parlays at 0.06 units each. Total bet is 0.36 units to win 1.63. Case at plus 145. Jury by decision prop 152, plus 152. Tate Nakai under 2.5 rounds, plus 180. Blanco Hooker does not go to decision, minus 145. Same thing on the next one. Total bet is 0.36 units to win 1.68. Round robin is at 2s, 0.06 units each. So Ho King, plus 150. Tate Nakai does not go to decision, plus 140. Blanco Hooker under 1.5 rounds, plus 175. And Kunimoto Walsh does not go to decision, minus 110. So total on all of these bets, on all my bets here, is 5.48 to win 6.31. Can't wait for these fights. Thank you to all our supporters, especially our clients, and I will talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.